Hey guys, Quicksilver Gaming here, bringing you another episode of Ultimate Admiral Dreadnoughts, and we are playing as the Italian Empire, and this is the 1.4 beta batch. In our last episode, the British Empire sent us an ultimatum. I thought that one would have sent us into war. Good thing it didn't, because we have a bunch of ships refitting. A lot of them should be done this month or the next month. However, the British have accused us of assassinating one of their politicians. Is it true? I can't say. But we are going to prepare for war, so we will choose wisely. And that choice is war. War has erupted between the Empire of Japan and the Republic of China. That's not the war I was thinking about. And here we have it, folks. War erupted between Italy and British Empire. Not the British Empire, just and British Empire. So our relationship with France actually increased. That's a little bit odd, even though we just smacked them in a war. But we shall see how this one goes. I'm feeling pretty good. I don't think all of our ships are refitted, but I think enough of them will be. All of our cruisers need another month. And all of our battleships are done, and all of our battle cruisers have been built. All of our destroyers have been refitted, and all of our light cruisers have been refitted. Now, those refits weren't anything special, but I think this should help out immensely. Obviously, the Italian government really likes the fact they're at war, as they are giving us a boatload of money, and we shall make use of it. Not much to do this turn. I am still researching big guns. I really want those Mark 4, Mark 5, 15-inch guns. I think it's Mark 4s actually all that I need. And then we will start building the Littorio class battleship. Anyways, I will end this turn and I will see you on the next one. The United States has also sent us an ultimatum demanding to withdraw our fleet that is operating near their borders. I think the United States is drunk and they need to go home. However, to make them go home, I need to bribe them, and I think I will do that. It's not that I don't want to fight the United States, it's just at this point in the war, or in the timeline, I would have to sail across the entire ocean to fight them, and I just feel like that's a war that's going to last forever and cripple my GDP, so I'm going to pay them off. We have tons of funds. All of our ships have been refitted, so we will start sending out our task forces, mainly in this line in the Mediterranean, where the British have been patrolling, and most likely that's where their transport lines are. So I will probably send a task force about here, and probably roughly here, and then maybe we'll start squeezing the British out. I would love to take Malta from the British. That would be a nice little goal of ours, just to remove British from the central and western Mediterranean, keep them over at Gibraltar and over here at Port Said. It would also be amazing if we could take Gibraltar. I imagine something in Africa will go down. The British have large swaths of territory in Africa, and I imagine there'll be some land battles here, but we have no control over that, other than sending task forces to doing naval invasion. Anyways, our fleet at Taranto, I think I will send it just right here. And then our fleet at Gaeta, we will move right here. And I, between turns, will make sure that all of my battle cruisers are on sea patrol. Actually, I will just show you right here, sea control. So I want all of these battle cruisers on sea control because I want them interdicting enemy small task forces, mainly ones that don't have battleships, and then everything else, all the convoys, large cruiser patrols, large destroyer patrols. Our battle cruisers are designed to absolutely blow those out of the water. I will mess around with various other roles, make sure we are in defend or in being or sea control where we need to be. It is July 1935, and we have what the game calls an important convoy defense. I don't know if these are new, the titles up here. I believe it just used to say convoy defense or convoy attack. Anyways, it is 2 of our light cruisers against 2 of the British light cruisers. Their light cruisers are larger than us, and they have slightly larger guns. 7.1 inches versus our 6 inchers. We have less guns too, and of course they have just a metric truckload of torpedo tubes. I think they also have more armor than us, so this might be a little interesting, but we're always up for a good fight. There are our beautiful light cruisers protecting the convoy, and let's check and see where the enemy might be. Radar ping has them just northwest. We will times 30 this and change our torpedoes to save so we don't use them stupidly. And this would be absolutely absurd if the enemy is running away from this battle, which maybe not, it went down to times 10 speed. Problem is we are never in visual, it seems, starting these engagements. So it's really hard to tell if the enemy is fleeing or not. Unfortunately, that was indeed a ghost battle, and for some reason it believes that that should be treated as a draw instead of a victory for the defenders, even though the attackers accomplished absolutely nothing. Once again, something I really wish the developers would fix. The enemy initiated the combat, they should be forced to engage. Otherwise, there should be ramifications. We have another potential battle. It is 2 cruisers, the Duca d'Aosta and the Nottingham. Hopefully this is a actual skirmish and the enemy does not retreat. Unfortunately, that makes our 3rd ghost battle of the turn. That is incredibly frustrating. Well, we started in range of their destroyers, so that is promising. What's not promising is that their destroyers are, well, at least one of them, 2, 3, 4 of them are low on fuel. So that means that the patch note that said this would not happen as often has been a little... well, let's say they haven't met expectations. I would like to point out that in all 3 ghost battles, the enemy was low on fuel, but they started so far away and were going the opposite direction that the little tiny moment that I caught sight of them, that's all I saw was low on fuel. So we will be attempting to blast these destroyers out of the water. I need to remember that they will have tons of torpedoes. I have set my group to avoid torpedoes, and there comes the first wave. We are going to turn this direction. As you can see, those torpedoes are zigging and zagging. And as one commenter said in a battle, the stray torpedo that hit me in one of our previous battles was a torpedo that looked like it had redirected its course after sighting it. Which, what I think that means is that we just didn't really visually see the torpedo correctly. I'm assuming that's what that represents. Maybe the torpedo did actually stray on its course. I don't know how historically accurate that is, or if torpedoes did that very often. I know later in the war there were torpedoes that did have some kind of homing. They would go after the wakes, but that was a pretty brutal bloodbath. At least we had some sort of combat. I mean, it was a cruiser and a light cruiser, both designed to destroy destroyers, and it was completely one-sided. They dealt 3 damage. As you can see, a complete massacre. It says we took light damage. I mean, I would call 3 damage nothing. But 4,238 victory points for the Italian Empire. And there are no other battles yet. So I will probably just continue as we have been. Actually, what I will do is I will move this group over here to further block this area, and then this task force I actually want to move a little bit further in, and that way it should have a better zone of control here, and that way we only have to worry about part of the Central Mediterranean and Western Mediterranean. Hopefully my battle cruisers who are set to sea control will start interdicting some of these forces. Otherwise I might have to send the battle cruisers out and maybe block the port of Said, and then maybe we'll just do a naval invasion of Malta. The Battlecruiser Bowser has caught up with a few light cruisers and a heavy cruiser of the British Empire. It is backed up by a light cruiser and a destroyer. They probably won't be needed in this battle. If the enemy flees, I will try to run them down. I am much faster than at least their light cruisers. Their heavy cruiser, there's less than a 6-knot difference, but we have the speed to hunt them down. There is the Bowser in all of her glory. I have to say, she is a beautiful looking battlecruiser. I absolutely love the higher mark turrets that the Italians have, and she is a beauty. A nice little view of her as we hunt down this little cruiser group. Alright, they were somewhere along the east wall, and it seems like they are fleeing. As I said, I will probably hunt them down, so I'll probably fast forward this. Oh, maybe not. We already have contact. They are not necessarily fleeing. I have to say the AI makes better looking ships. It's still not the greatest design. Looks a little front heavy to me. But we are heading straight at the enemy. We did manage to land one hit. Those look way off. This is more like a French design than a British design, with the 3 triple turrets at the front. Was that a 4-3-5-4? They just launched torpedoes, so we are changing direction. At least I'm assuming that's what that was, that those torpedo tubes turned to launch. So we will start firing away. I am going to put those two in the same group, and that way they can go on torpedo evasion. I would like them to save their torpedoes, which saving just means they won't fire them at this distance. The AI has some of the best torpedo evasion you could ever imagine, and I would like our torpedoes to launch a little closer. They actually got a hit there. I think this is the cruiser that we want to hit. Oh, and that was a big hit on the cruiser. It is listing already. The Bowser is under duress by those torpedoes. Oh, barely hit us. That was really unfortunate. Whoa, this torpedo spread is insane. Can we turn in? Turn away? Oh, and we took another torpedo hit. We are being blasted by torpedoes. That was absolutely insane. That was really bad on our part. Those torpedo spreads were highly aggressive. And now we are probably in trouble. I'm amazed the sonar didn't pick those torpedoes up even further, although I'm not entirely sure what I could have done there. I mean, they are 15,000 kilometers away or more, so this will be rather interesting. However, we are still hitting their cruiser, the Cochrane, and it is about to go down. Let's see here. How's it designed? Longitudinal weight offset 27.6. That is absolutely atrocious. Now, we are not doing well here. We are listing heavily. I don't know if flood control can fix this. Those torpedo hits were absolutely devastating. I'm really rusty on my torpedo evasion. I haven't played this in quite some time. I was waiting for some sort of major update, and this beta patch looked like a great time to jump back into the game. But I will say the amount of torpedoes that the enemy is putting on their ships is slightly worrying, because that is generally the best way the enemy has at hurting you, or it's their best chance. And our flooding doesn't look like it's getting any better. Sort of makes sense. I don't think that this is the speed that we are sailing at is probably not conducive to flood control. Big hit on the Cochrane, but no flooding damage. That was a ricochet, so she is probably fleeing, would be my guess. Yes. She is listing heavily. Those torpedo hits were absolutely brutal. We would be manhandling this entire fleet if... Yeah, see that? Oh. See, those torpedoes, I feel like we are a little late on detection with Sonar 3 and the bridges that we have. That feels a little rough. So our secondaries are pounding this little cruiser over here, the Flora. We have 4-inch guns galore and tons of 2-inch guns. And that's what is just blasting the Flora apart. And I didn't see, but the Cochrane has started sinking, so our big guns will start firing. Another torpedo salvo. Fairly widespread. Unless we have missed a torpedo somewhere. Looks like there's no threat there. The Flora is now sinking. So even though we are completely crippled, we are picking apart their fleet. We just need to watch out for torpedoes, and that is going to be tight, but I think we caught this one in time. And I actually think that that other torpedo salvo really saved us against that one, because we turned away from the torpedo salvo. Now, I don't have a rudder hit, but the steering is a little bit funky. And, oh, that torpedo's close. Ooh. When you're listing this much, turning does take a lot of your speed away. We are still moving at 38 knots. I can't believe we managed to pick apart that fleet like that with the amount of damage we took. And I believe we took 4 torpedo hits. That was absolutely atrocious on our part. as far as torpedoes, but we did specifically make this ship to take more torpedo hits. We gave it heavier torpedo protection, we gave it a little bit more maneuverability, and we gave it the best sonar we could. But it was definitely pummeled by torpedoes, that is for sure. I do like to look at main gun accuracy, 14% on the Bowser. Wow, 18% from the Flora, pretty impressive there. Secondary gun accuracy, 16%, and I think most of those were aimed at the Flora. And just like that, the British Empire is desperately asking for a peace treaty. I would like to fight some more. I built all of these ships specifically to fight the French and the British. I am not willing to back down from this fight. They're the ones who instigated it, even if we may or may not have assassinated one of their politicians, but I cannot say. There is a convoy attack in its defense. I will take this and hope that it is not a ghost battle. It shouldn't be. They theoretically have the upper hand, although we have more tonnage. What do they have? 7.8-inch guns. We have 9-inch guns on our ships, but in theory, a light cruiser should be able to take on 2 destroyers, so we shall see. Alright, the enemy ship has been sighted, and lo and behold, it is low on fuel, and it looks like it is turning away to flee. Since it is low on fuel, I think we might chase it down. It's 40-some kilometers away. Might be difficult though, but I will speed through this part and see what we can do. We have caught up to the enemy ship, and we are actually opening fire. I don't know the name of their ship yet. We're still identifying it. Oh, their torpedo range is 22 kilometers. Pretty impressive. So I need to keep that in mind, that 22 kilometers is a danger zone. We'll just be blasting away at this ship for quite some time, I think. And have we identified it? 90% so far. I think we should be able to catch up fairly easily. We're only 18.5 kilometers away. I believe we started somewhere in the 45-kilometer range. Now it is showing its butt to us, and this game makes that incredibly difficult shots for us. Everything ricochets. Overpen. I do think that if the enemy is showing you trying to remember what this is called. In Age of Sail, this would be raking fire, but what this should lead to is incredible plunging fire, as every hit really should hit the deck at this point. So I'm a little unsure about the concept of ricochet and blocks at this angle. You can find historical data, especially when the Bismarck and the Hood fought each other. The Hood purposefully tried to change its course to show its broadside so that the Bismarck would not be able to... so its shots wouldn't cause plunging deck hits as easily. Torpedo detonation, that's always a good sign. More penetration on the ship. I don't think its torpedoes will be able to attack us, but this is a pretty nice sight to behold here. I should be able to see the torpedoes as they come in. But as I said, at this angle, I don't think that the enemy ship can launch torpedoes. We do have some torpedoes of our own, but we are fine blasting away. We are over pen, regular pen, partial pen. I think this ship is doomed. and it should make its way to the bottom of the sea very soon. As far as the other ship, I think it is a little too far away, and it was not on low fuel, so it'll be much harder to catch. As soon as we blast this ship out of the water, I think we will end this one. We did take a little fire hit. I heard torpedoes launch, so that is probably the enemy's ship's torpedoes. One of the interesting things about sonar is that you can actually hear torpedoes in the water, but it doesn't look like there are any, so maybe I heard wrong. Anyways, we will end the battle there. Another cowardly act by the British. They attacked our convoy and then retreated. I always like to look at ship stats just to see if there is anything horrible with my ship. 18% main gun accuracy is pretty good, especially seeing as a lot of those were at maximum range as we were chasing down the enemy. September 1935, war continues after the failed negotiations between Italy and British Empire, and we shall see what else there is. No, I don't want to become allies with you. You guys were really mad when I took over Montenegro, so no, I don't think so. The British Navy has sacked their admiralty. We have caught one of their battleships out in the open, and let's try to blast it with two of our battleships. I'll probably send all of these ships on a retreat order and just try to attack it with our two battleships. We are only 5 knots faster. They might run away, but we have some very long distance shooting that we can harass the enemy battleship with, especially with the radar. Our long distance fire should be very accurate. So as I said, these will all go on retreat orders. They provide nothing against an enemy battleship. But our battleship, which I would like them to go ahead and normal, will start making its way toward the enemy. We are already firing. It is turning and fleeing. This design is weird, to say the least. All sorts of types of guns by the looks of it, so its secondary fire is not going to be very accurate. I would put this turret here and move this one forward. We are already overpenning, which is plunging fire, I would assume, as our two battleships just start blasting the enemy. I always love how the guns go up and then go down like they would historically to reload. A very nice sight to behold. You guys will have to deal with some cinematic shots here because these chase battles are a little boring to me. Did we lose sight of their battleship? No, I can still see it. And it has lost a turret. Somehow we hit the front turret. That's a very strange arc. So there must have been a flash fire, as that turret no longer exists. And she is going down. So I have a nice cinematic view of the carnage and destruction, listing heavily. We still haven't identified her. I would love to take a peek at what madness there is. That was a big hit right there. Mind you, we only have 13-inch guns, so keep that in mind. So that is something I really like, that they have changed I haven't said a lot of things about what I like so far in this series, but I really, really like the changes that they have made to armor penetration and armor values, because ships did feel completely invincible before. And she is going down a couple more hits. She is nearly completely submerged in the rear. I think she is sinking, and there we go. You can see the oil, and that is the battle. It was not much of a battle. I would prefer in those situations where the enemy knows that they can't run away because we are so much faster than them, that they just turn and fight. It would be more interesting if they actually turned and fought us instead of having one rear turret to fend off a total of 4 front turrets from our battleship. Couple convoy raids, so the Wario is defending a convoy. I don't think that these ships want this fight, but we are so much faster than them. We will attempt to hunt them down, especially if they're out of fuel. We are already in range of the enemy. 2 of their ships are low on fuel. I will critique this until it is fixed. Don't send your ships out unless they have fuel. It's really not that hard. We are already sinking one of their destroyers, I'm assuming. Let's go take a look. That looks like a destroyer. Well, no, that's a light cruiser. Yep, that's a light cruiser. Wow, that went down quick. I do have to keep in mind that the enemy has torpedoes that will fire at a very long distance. So we won't go full cinematic here. There is a torpedo detonation on that ship over there, and it is being absolutely blasted. You can see the power of our battlecruiser when it is not completely listing. This thing is designed to just pick these apart. I might start some evasive maneuvers already, although if they've fired torpedoes, in theory, I should be able to see them. Our identification process is awful. There are no battlecruisers on this battlefield. And we are just blasting them to pieces. So I believe there's just one more destroyer out there. They picked the absolute wrong convoy to attack. There's a torpedo. So the Wario took 30 damage from something, but dealt 56,000 damage, including 3 ammo detonations. And I believe those were mostly against torpedoes, but absolutely brutal firefight. 37% main gun accuracy against light cruisers and a destroyer. There you have it, all 4 ships sunk, and 30 damage is considered light damage, so they gained nearly 2 victory points. Another convoy battle. This looks a lot more evenly matched. We shall see if the British actually want to attack, and what a lovely picture of Sir Winston Churchill. As we start nearly colliding with one of our troop transports, we shall start chasing down the enemy fleet and see if they actually want to participate. Once again, the enemy has low fuel, but it looks like they are heading our direction. So there's the destroyer, has 2 torpedo launchers and 3 turrets. This actually looks like a well-designed ship. I absolutely hate the use of smoke in this game. I go back and forth on it. I wish they would just remove smoke from the game or make it a one-time use only. Smoke was mostly used to hide your retreat. It wasn't really used in the way it is used in this game. or to throw off the enemy when maneuvering. But this game just likes to use it willy-nilly. I have to remember that I have a light cruiser here, and I actually would like you two to group up and go on torpedo evasion here. We've already taken a couple hits, that is unfortunate, and thankfully my light cruiser is very maneuverable, so those torpedoes were very easy to dodge, especially because I wasn't trying to obtain a cinematic shot. Now, looks like our destroyer launched torpedoes from a very far off distance, but as you can see here, our cruiser is pummeling their destroyer. That is what these cruisers are designed for. We are taking some hits, but nothing major. Some massive hits, probably our 6-inch guns that caused those larger hits on the destroyer. But we do have oodles of 2-inch guns on this light cruiser. Looks like one of our main guns is badly damaged. Looks like that is the case. Rather interesting. Their light cruiser is actually getting some major hits off, and shoot, I forgot they have this feature in the game. I need you to detach, and we are just rolling in circles right now. Their light cruiser got some major hits off, so this is where I would use smoke, because we are in trouble. Not how they're using it. Their destroyer, it makes sense, but their cruiser has the advantage, so there's no reason why their cruiser should be laying smoke. Now, I want to turn around here and at least finish off this destroyer. We are very crippled. I've said this before, our light cruisers are not really designed to take on other cruisers, especially in a 2-on-1. But you saw what it was doing to a destroyer. It was able to quickly take it out of action. Now, I think if it was a 1-on-1 and we could attack their light cruiser, I think our cruiser would do really well. I would like you to, target the destroyer. And I would like you to screen him again. And you're on normal torpedoes, that's fine. Looks like you just launched a torpedo salvo. And how far away is that destroyer? Ah, that was another bad hit. Our light cruiser is definitely taking a beating. One of its guns has major issues. Our secondaries have no ammunition. They must all either be destroyed or their ammo is destroyed. And let's check the feed. I don't see any ammo debts. I'll have to go back and look at that, why it's out of ammo. Surely it couldn't have used all its ammo up. I'm pretty sure I give these extra ammo. Shell's ammo standard. I might need to change that. I would like to at least take down this destroyer before calling it quits. I will give the enemy its due. It badly mauled our light cruiser. But this destroyer should definitely be going down soon. The other thing about the smoke is it feels like you can do it way too often. It's showing its butt to us. Without any secondaries, we're relying on, well, that. I think that ship has fled, basically. Yeah, it is fleeing. I don't really feel like chasing it because it does have the advantage. It also has larger guns than us and larger, well, a larger secondary 3x3. Yeah. So we will just flee from the battlefield. Not the greatest battle, but let's see if... I have to go back and check. I wonder if anybody saw in the video if something happened that caused all of our ammunition to disappear, or maybe we took secondary gun... all of our secondary guns were destroyed. That's a big possibility. So coastal defense was a win for the Italian Empire. Just looking at what remains of the British in the Mediterranean, it is not much. So what I might do here is move our big fleet over to Port Said, and then move this fleet over to Malta, right where our ship was. And then I believe I have 2 battle cruisers here that I will form a new fleet over here, and I will give them some support. Not light cruisers. Don't I have a... There we go. 2 cruisers and 2 destroyers. I will have them as screening escorts. The main reason I want to do this is because these ships have depth charges, whereas my battlecruiser does not. And the destroyers also have mine hunting kits, so in case there's any mines in the region. Just stops my battlecruisers from being easy prey to destroyers, although I haven't really seen any English English submarines as of late. And as a part of that maneuvering, I do want to start a naval invasion of Malta. I believe it was 54,000 tons to begin. I think our fleets are somewhere in the 175,000 ton vicinity, so I will click yes to shall we commence the attack in the next month, because our fleet that will start the attack will be in range of Malta. And you do that by going into the politics screen and clicking the naval invasion, and it gives you a list of areas you want to invade. And this is exactly why I brought cruiser and destroyer escorts for my battle cruisers, as they block the Strait of Gibraltar, or at least the Western Mediterranean part of the Strait of Gibraltar, is because there is a cheeky little submarine that wants to torpedo my battle cruisers. So hopefully the auto-resolve causes heavy damage upon their submarine, no casualties on our part. That's exactly what you want. However, we have been damaged by mines. I'm not sure where these destroyers were to be damaged by mines, and these destroyers do have mine hunting kits, so that's we'll call it incompetency on the crew's part. When I'm at war, I don't like selling ships to other nations, because you're just one bad battle away from filling all of your shipyard capacity with damaged ships that need to be fixed. Italy mobilizes to launch a naval invasion against British Empire in Malta. Please add the in these sentences, or at least test them, because against British Empire, I'm no English major, but I'm pretty sure that's grammatically incorrect. Feel free to correct me in the comments if I am completely wrong and I am just stupid. France is provoking us. Okay, poke the bear. Why not? You obviously don't remember what happened just 1 year ago. So the naval invasion here, we have a 67% chance to succeed. That's not good enough. where else do we have? Trying to remember where we have all of our big giant battle cruisers stationed. Not Cagliari, Olbia, not Bolbia. Maybe it was Livorno? Nope. La Spezia, yes. Luigi and Mario. That was not on purpose that I put these two together in La Spezia, but it worked out perfectly. We will move you guys into this naval invasion area. And we have 168,000 tons. I just want that percentage to be as close to 100 as possible. Let's just move you a little bit further in. I believe that's just 2 light cruisers and a destroyer. Perfect. And let's check out what this battle is. The Bartolomeo Colliani versus the Furious. I do love that they have proper naming conventions for the different fleets, because that is such a British ship name, and I created that name myself. Well, it's a real Italian ship name. I didn't create it myself. Alright, a cruiser duel as our cruiser bounces along the sea. It's always interesting that is how the physics start in the game, that they bobble up and down. It's not a huge deal, but it would be interesting if they could figure out a way how to fix it. But I imagine there's a lot of physics in the game, and that's just something that will be in the game until the end of time. It doesn't really affect anything except for the very beginning. Alright, so their cruiser is about 20 kilometers away. I have a feeling it is fleeing from the battlefield, because we just went to times 30, and that is rather unfortunate. It is a one-on-one duel. I feel like... Are you low fuel? Very interesting design, these little light cruisers. I like them a lot. 3 triple turrets. I'm assuming it's the 7-inchers. That's a weird little rear gun there. Feels like it's spaced a little bit odd. If it has a forward weight offset, you'd think that maybe they would put the funnel in, push the bridge back, push the turrets back, and push these guys in. I'm not sure. Those 2 turrets there feel a little odd to me. They have not the greatest lines of fire. I would put these torpedo tubes there and put these turrets more along here. As far as secondaries, oh, it used smoke. Oh well. We are in times 5 range though. I wish you could manipulate this more. I wish I could stay in times 10. Like, I can't see the enemy. So why can't I be in times 10 or times 30? As soon as the enemy pops up, maybe bump it down to times 5, but then don't wipe these 2 out. That's just some of my thoughts on that, because it just takes longer and longer and longer. Now, from this angle, we do outgun the Furious. It has 1 triple turret versus our 2 double turrets. Their guns are larger, 7.1 inches versus our 6-inch guns. But hopefully we can do some damage here. Or not. They will absolutely blat us. My secondary gun in the middle? Yeah. That is a crazy shot. Somehow arcs through the bridge, over the funnel, and into the secondary right there. Looks like we have a couple hits on the Furious. Nothing major, though. I don't have a lot to say during these chases, so I might fast forward this footage, but still keep it. But these are definitely boring battles. These are not the battles I like. I like the ones where the enemy is launching torpedoes left and right, you have to maneuver. Instead, this is just a point and click and hope that get some good shots off. See, this is what like really frustrates me. This is a well-balanced duel. Their ship is good. My ship has paper armor. Their ship has... what are the details here? Where's their armor? Okay, so here's their armor. Well, they're even more paper armor than we are, but they have a bigger gun. Those numbers are strange. 6.2 offset. Their ship is built pretty well. The only thing I would change is these 3.1 inch guns. I would change everything to either 3.1 or everything to 2.1. I mean, they can keep this ridiculous amount of torpedoes if they wish. So it looks like there is a course adjustment. I believe we hit their rudder. We are launching torpedoes, just 2 of them. I would like to do a course adjustment so our other torpedo tubes fire. Let's see if we can get the angle. There we go. These won't hit, but maybe it'll cause... that one's pretty close, though. Alright. I believe we actually hit with a torpedo. And that is a giant spread. Oh, I should have turned differently. Oh, so lucky, dud. So, I overturned. There was a gap between those between the torpedoes, and I could have made it between the gap. You see how there's a gap there? Sometimes you shoot for the gap. Oh, these hits are brutal. See, this would be a great duel between light cruisers. I mean, it is pummeling us, we are pummeling them. I actually think they have the upper hand. Oh, that was a terrible turn by me. Ah, man. Yeah, they might have the upper hand here. That torpedo... I didn't do I did a terrible job dodging those torpedoes there. Now all of our secondaries are out of ammo. They have the upper hand. So this is silly that they didn't push their advantage. Because we will probably lose now. They had great torpedo spreads. We ran straight into their torpedoes and all of our secondaries are gone. And they're just absolutely decimating us. And we can't get away. Yeah. So that's the frustration. It was an evenly matched battle. I would even say it was in their favor due to the amount of torpedoes they have and my incompetency at dodging torpedoes right now. I mean, they launch a spread, that's 12 torpedoes. Although I think they're on different sides. No, yeah, that's just one side. Holy cow, they have 24 torpedo tubes? I feel like the AI is just spamming torpedoes. So, there we go. We lost a light cruiser in a duel. I wish the AI would not retreat. I don't get what causes the AI to retreat from these battles. I feel like you can make the AI a little bit more intelligent and make it to where they don't retreat. So, there we go. I think we will call that for today's episode. We'll lose on a defeat. But they may have won the battle, but we are absolutely winning the war, except for maybe this invasion of, is that Libya? Cyrenaica? I think that's Libya. But there's good and bad still with this patch. Hopefully they work on a few more things. I feel like the AI's ship design is much better. I would like it to be less torpedo spammy. It feels even more spammy than before for torpedoes, and those spreads are just absolutely insane and really difficult to dodge. I can definitely do a better job of dodging. I can preemptively turn when I think they are launching torpedoes. I can pay attention to their ships better to see if their torpedo tubes have fired. I feel like identification is still a little bit too slow, and that causes issues when trying to identify if the enemy has launched torpedoes. And then, obviously, the ghost battles, that has to be changed. It absolutely has to be changed. I really like the changes to armor and to armor penetration. I feel like those are fantastic changes. I mean, the new hulls are... I will never say no to new hulls. There's nothing, like, crazy in the design. It just seems like different displacement values, different armor caps, different... lengths, things like that, but you know, I'm the more you can add, usually the better. But that is it for today's episode. When we return, we will still be at war with England, and hopefully we can get revenge for the sinking of our light cruiser that I can't even remember its name. Very unfortunate. We will send letters to all of their family and a giant bag of pasta. So as always, guys, until next time. If you enjoyed this content and would like to see more, please like, subscribe, and comment below.